Nation.
SMD Law is the official law firm of the Spartan Nation. Check them out on the interwebs at smdalaw.com or at 866-529-3537. No matter where you are in the state of Michigan, Upper Peninsula, Lower Peninsula, it doesn't matter. They have an office near you. So whether you need to send a letter to an annoying neighbor, or you're a criminal and you need defense, maybe you just have problems with elder law, check them out, smdalaw.com today. The official law firm of the Spartan Nation. Call them first. Then you act.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Spartan Nation Radio. We now bring in the Grand Poobah of SMD Law. SMD Law is the official law firm of the Spartan Nation. Remember now, our daily emails that go out with updates from UC, from Spartan Nation, and all the videos and stories that you love, those are sponsored by SMD Law. You get those things 100% free because of SMD Law. Remember, when your next decision matters, you call them first and then you act. 866-529-3537. We bring in the Grand Poobah, Jeff Michalowski. Jeff, how are you?
A lot better after this weekend. Boy, did State really take it to Minnesota, huh?
Boy, they did too. Listen, I know that you love NCAA action, so we've got a couple of NCAA questions I want to run by. Is that okay?
Fire away. Got to tell you one other big win this weekend, though. First.
Oh, please.
The Leftovers advanced to the semifinals of the Men's C League Onyx Ice Arena Championship.
That's your hockey team, right?
It sure is. You got to gloat every once in a while, right?
Well, here's the best part. You and I usually talk about your men's hockey league when we're done. I wasn't going to say anything, so as long as you advance, then it's okay to talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always okay to talk about it. Got to get some gamesmanship out there, right? For all the Spartan alums out there and Rochester, Macomb, Oakland, and really kind of put it to everybody, right?
I agree 100%. Jeff, the first one comes us from Clint in St. John's. Clint says, Hondo, recently I was put on 3 days suspension by my job because I started an NCAA pool at our work, and they said NCAA pools are illegal. I don't understand how everybody putting $5 in, and the one with the most points wins the money. Is it illegal, and do I need an attorney, or can I fight this?
Well, technically it is gambling, and therefore it's illegal. More importantly, we have to understand a couple things about employment law in Michigan. We use a term that all employment in Michigan is employment at will, unless there's an actual contract with terms. Employment at will means you could be let go for any reason or no reason whatsoever. Most bigger companies will also have a employee handbook with basic rules that you abide by when you sign it and accept it. So you got to be careful of what you do on company time. Most employers are more concerned about the loss of productivity at work during this time of year. So generally, if you fight it, I could tell you, you might have a bigger issue with employment at will.
All right, the next one comes to us from Brianna. Brianna lives in Birmingham, Michigan. Here's what Brianna says. Dear Mr. Carpenter, my father and our family has a pool every year for the NCAA tournament. We recently found out that my ex-brother-in-law was taking money out of the pool. He ran it. I realize it's only a couple of $100, but I'm 16 years old, and my $10 a year means a lot. Is it worth sending a letter to have him give me my money back?
You could write on your own, but we can't get involved. That's one of those. Again, a pool is considered gambling. It's something that wouldn't be enforceable ever in a court of law, as we look at it as being a policy that is contrary to public good or public policy. So chances are you have to try and intimidate them on your own.
All right, the next one comes from James, and James is in Sterling Heights. James says, Dear Mr. Carpenter, I have a question for Mr. Michalowski. I'm considering becoming an attorney. I'm 15 years old. Recently, my cousin informed me that, when we were discussing about me wanting to be attorney, I could never defend people I knew was guilty. I really like the gentleman who's from Sterling Heights that does the radio show every week. Can you ask him, how difficult is it to defend or represent people that you know are guilty?
Well, generally I don't do criminal law, but we have friends that do here at the office. One is actually a Spartan alum, and we have a great referral relationship with him. Andy Hubbs, great guy. Met him a few times, right, Hondo?
I have.
And he tells me it's not necessarily about defending the guilty. It's more so ensuring that our rights as Americans are upheld with the right to a trial, the right to fair and impartial trial, and the right to representation. So it's more so about upholding someone's rights than it is about defending a guilty party.
Huh. That's a great answer. That's a very good political answer, Jeff.
I told you, Hondo Carpenter, Jeff Michalowski, 2020, right?
I agree. Jeff, the next one comes to us from Julie. Julie says, Hondo, I am a devout Democrat, but I have a question for Mr. Michalowski that I understand is not really necessarily a political question answer with an attorney, but it is a legal question. I gave a lot of money because I was promised that Robert Mueller was going to find evidence to impeach our idiot, carrot-topped president. Here's what bothers me. I heard a lady on the show ask, and Jeff said it was okay to lie. To me, I am a principled person. I gave a lot of money that I couldn't afford to give because I want this misogynist pig out of office. I am angry that I was promised he was going to bring things to the forefront that would cause this idiot slanderer to be impeached. My question is there a class action lawsuit for those of us that gave on that principle? I'm mad at my own party, and that's, I read her name right, Julie.
Well, Julie, one, I didn't say it was okay to lie, and in fact, lying is right up there with the favorite legal F word, fraud. But you have to understand the difference between what we call sales puff, political promises, and actual statements made in solicitation. So basically, you were supporting a party and the fundamentals and some promises that there's no possible way that they could enforce. If it is an impartial hearing, how the heck could they guarantee you're going to find something bad in that report? And you can't. And so it's just one of those things that the law differentiates between promises and what we call mere puff.
Okay. Andrew and Brad, a father-son combination. They are out of Milan, Michigan, sent this one in. Dear Mr. Carpenter, for months and months and months, we heard the president was going to be impeached. We heard leaked sources. I'm just curious, can people who said things about the president that the Mueller report now says are not true be charged with slander?
That's a great question. Now, when we analyze any slander or defamation of character lawsuit, we have to consider a few things. One, people in the public eye. Two, there's always the theory that there is a defense in the absolute truth. And three, you have to evaluate what the statements were made. So if the statements came out and said that President Trump absolutely colluded with Russia on this date by saying X, Y, and Z, well, that tends to move more towards slander. But if you say we believe the Mueller report will show that he colluded, well, that's not so much slander. Again, there's a difference between opinion and fact, and of course, alleging something. So if you really look back at those statements and analyze it under a microscope, chances are they're not going to be defamatory statements that would amount to slander, at least in a court of law.
All right, the next one comes to us from Bethany. Bethany, who lives in, hang on, I'm trying to find it here, Novi, Michigan. Dear Mr. Carpenter, I am 12 years old. My parents told me that I could have a Siberian Husky puppy if I saved the money. My dad said there was no way in hell he would spend that much money on a puppy. I've been saving all my Christmas money and birthday money for 4 years, and I bought a Siberian Husky puppy. He was $1,200. We had him exactly 3 weeks, and he passed away. We were told by the vet that it had a heart condition. I'm curious. We called the breeder that we bought it from, and they told us, sorry, there was nothing they could do. Now I'm out to $1,200 and the puppy. Is it right that I'm stuck with a puppy that had a bad heart, or could I do something? I don't have the money for an attorney. My dad said he would not spend money for an attorney, but said if I wanted some help, I should email you and ask Mr. Micah Lukulowski.
Now I'm in the same category as Mr. Snuffleupagus.
I know.
Him from Sesame Street. Mr. Snuffleupagus, George Papadopoulos, and Jeff Michalowski, right?
Right. I thought this was a good email.
It's a great email, and I'm really sorry, Bethany, that your puppy passed away. But, absent trying to show that they had reason to believe that heart condition was prevalent within that group of puppies, it's going to be hard to prevail on anything. However, Hondo, I'm not a dog owner. I am a dog lover. But as far as I know, when you get the purebreds, sometimes they have some genetic deficiencies. In other words, that there's a pretty good chance that the breeder may have known that these puppies had a heart condition. So maybe your dad could make a phone call to the breeder and see what the breeder would say. But otherwise, you can't really put a guarantee on the life of an animal or a person. Unfortunately, that's life. Sometimes bad things happen.
All right. And one more. Can you do one more, Jim?
Sure.
All right. This comes to us from Randy, and Randy lives in Parma, Michigan. Randy says, Dear Mr. Carpenter, I really enjoy the show. I love listening to Jeff from SMD Law. He's super good. I have a question. My father is at the end of his life. It has been a wonderful life for my father. He fought for our country. He was a great dad. I am his only child. I heard Mr. Michalowski recently on the show talk about his specialty is elder law. My father is not a wealthy man, but he's a great man. And I'm just assuming everything, because everything's in my name, is going to pass, and we don't need an attorney for elder law situations. There's not a lot of money. He's been staying with me. I've been taking care of everything. I have power of attorney. Does Mr. Michalowski agree that it doesn't sound like I need to go see him, or is this something he would still suggest? There's just not a lot of money, less than $100,000 in assets, and I've already got power of attorney, but I trust him if he thinks I need one.
Well, that's a tough call, and God bless your dad. It's always rough when you go through these things, but when somebody's lived a longer life and been a great influence and everything else, I mean, heck, those things kind of happen, but it never eases the loss.
And just so you know, by the way, because it was quite a lengthy email, when the dad needed to go into a nursing home, the son decided to move in with him because the dad didn't want to go to a nursing home, so the home's already been signed over into his name and everything.
Okay. Well, I would want to take a look maybe at the email, Hondo. I could very happily just do a quick review off the email and respond to him directly. But for just a general answer, a power of attorney is effective to make legal decisions for somebody that is otherwise disabled or just needs a little bit more help. Powers of attorney are probably the most effective legal document that we can use to help somebody with elder law later in life. Powers of attorney do expire at death, so if you're going to use a power of attorney to rearrange assets or reposition assets, retitle assets, you got to do it now because, again, it expires at death.
So with everything in his name, though, that's what I'm at.
Potentially, yes.
Okay.
He should be okay through joint ownership and beneficiary designation. There are some pitfalls, though, that we should take a look at, especially with deed work. It comes into that. Deed work particularly falls into the, I'm not a lawyer, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn category. The problem with deed work is if we don't put the titling the right way in what's called a proper tenancy, then you could end up with a home following Dad's death owned half by Dad's estate and half by you. So if you can, Hondo, forward that email over to me. I'd like to offer a free consultation and just take a look at the rest of the information.
Okay.
It never hurts to have an attorney review it before it's too late and we have to go through probate.
All right. I will get it to you when I get back to the office today, Jeff.
Sounds great. Thanks, Hondo.
All right. You're listening to Spartan Nation. Remember, when your next decision matters, call them first and then you act. 866-529-3537. SMDAlaw.com. Law.com. Law.